What's up? This is the Game Forums Extended Forum, episode 29. I'm Zach,
And I'm Lindsay.
and today we're going to be talking about Call of Duty finally getting announced, Gamescom starting up this week, Deathloop being delayed, and Ghost of Tsushima is getting an unexpected expansion. But first, what have you been playing?
So I've been continuing to play Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah,
Really close to beating it now. I've really wanted to beat it earlier. I just haven't had the time.
yeah.
But I've been playing some of that. I've been playing some Fall Guys. I've been having a lot of fun with that game. A lot more than I thought that I would. That's really about all I've been playing this week. I finished Superliminal, and I should have the review out by now. Um, so yeah, that's probably all I've been playing this week. How about you, Zach?
So I had already finished Ghost of Tsushima, and then I got the platinum trophy on it. So I think last week I had talked about a little JRPG I was playing called Trials of Mana. I've been playing that a little more. It's definitely a Japanese game in ways that I enjoy, in ways that are like I don't know how to explain. Basically, so like I said last week, there's nine. I think there's six companions. I might have misspoke. There's not nine. There's instead six, and you choose a main one that you want to play as, and then you have two extra companions. You can switch between the party members, but you're like the story path you're choosing is based off of the main companion. And there's this one companion that I chose not to select just because she's a mage type, and I wanted to heal her. Her name is Charlotte, and so even the people you don't select at all, you still run across it at varying parts of the game. Well, I have ran across Charlotte in like one of the first major cities, and I'm very, very glad that I did not select her in my party because I probably would have uninstalled my game.
Oh
So
no.
she talks in baby talk, and it is very, very annoying. Like she's like, I wheelie wheelie saw we, like she talks like that the whole way, and it is very much like, oh man, this is. There's people that enjoy the fun nature of that, and that's fine. But like, I would just get really annoyed by that. So I'm really glad that I didn't pick her. But one of the characters I did pick, Kevin, speaks his sentences are fragmented. He doesn't speak in full sentences. So when he does a monologue, it takes like 45 seconds longer than it should.
Oh
Because he's
no.
he's like he'll speak like instead of I went to the grocery store today, it'd be like I went to the grocery store today. And it's like, oh my god, why? But to be fair, he was raised by like wolves as a kid, so he's that. I mean, the fact that he's speaking at all is a miracle. So, but but other than that, the story itself, the gameplay, I'm really enjoying. One thing I've noticed is that there's like obviously there's always the end of the world. There's evil and there's good. And you're trying to triumph over evil. One thing, however, I did notice is that in Dragon Quest, there is the World Tree. It's the Yggdrasil. It's the tree of power that evil is trying to corrupt to take over the world, and you got to go save the tree. That's always been a thing in the Dragon Quest franchise. In Trials of Mana and in all of the Trials games, there's the Tree of Mana, which is just the same thing. And you're trying to save the Tree of Mana, and in order to do that, you have to find all of these elementals, and then in order to do that, you have to have the Mana Sword, which is kind of I guess pulling from Zelda, which is kind of cool. But I've met one of the elementals, and this guy's like a big old doof. His name is like Lumina or Lumeria or something like that. He's a little purple orb, and he's just a big old goofball. And I was not expecting that at all. Like it's a semi-serious story that the characters themselves are taking it seriously, but you meet this guy and it's just a big old goof. I was not expecting that at all. So it's wholesome fun mixed with a fun combat system with going to towns and side quests and talking to people, and apparently like you start off as a class, but then you can change to other classes, but then those can upgrade to subclasses, and every subclass has like new skill trees, new abilities, and those are the same for every companion that you have. So you can start mixing and matching like all these different abilities, which was really cool. It's definitely interesting to me. I'm definitely going to keep playing it. Luckily, it's not a super long game, so I'll have it finished before like any of the major releases come out. Outside of that, I've been playing Fall Guys, just kind of here and there. Definitely enjoying it. We should have our first impressions video up by the time you're hearing this, maybe around the time you're hearing this. And then I have finished and platinumed Maneater, which is it's a super easy platinum. I probably did it in 10.5 hours. Uh, that game is definitely a something. The story is just weird. It's kind of funny. It's shot like it's a TV show. Like you're following this um, fisherman going after the shark, but then it just gets insane. But the game itself was really fun. The gameplay's fun. There's a lot of these I don't, like tourist areas you can go to, but they're jokes on things. So you can find like uh, I went to a place and it was very obviously SpongeBob SquareHouse's like Pineapple House, and then
Hmm.
there was a few other things. There's some like UFOs and it's just references to like pop culture and media stuff like that. It's really funny. I had fun with it. I would recommend playing it, but only if it's like super cheap because it's janky as hell. There's been many times where like the lock on will be on a fish or a turtle or an enemy or whichever that I'm trying to chomp as the shark, and I'll hit the lunge button, which is you lunge forward to grab it, and it would just go right past it, like almost 9 times out of 10. It was really frustrating. But
Ugh.
eventually, you get so big, you become a mega shark to where it's like the radius of your mouth can just cover just about everything except for like a an orca. Like there's whales in the game and stuff, so those are a little difficult. But I mean, it was fun. It was super cheap. It was a fun platinum. But I oh, and also I'm playing, which I'll have a review up hopefully shortly, later this week when this goes live for the Foundation expansion and Control. I'll reserve most of my thoughts for the review, but I'm enjoying the story, but it is light on content is all I'll say. But other than that, that's all I've been playing.
Okie dokie. Well, I guess getting into the news for this week, we finally have confirmation of something we knew for months now.
Yeah,
That is, the next Call of Duty will be called Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. They showed off a teaser trailer, which really didn't show hardly
yeah,
anything.
yeah,
It was just kind of random clips and stuff from the Cold War. It didn't really show any gameplay or really much of anything. It just kind of confirmed the title, which had already been leaked a couple months ago anyway.
yeah. By a
So,
Doritos bag
so we
of all
we
things.
finally know something
Yeah,
we already knew.
And,
Hooray!
and is it about time that they either drop the Black Ops tag or the Call of Duty tag? Like we know one or the other. It doesn't need to be Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Like no, it could be Call of Duty Cold War or Black Ops Cold War. Like we know what the game is. They don't need to do Call of Duty Cold War. Like it's obvious what the game is. We are getting a full reveal, I think on the 26th, the day before Gamescom starts. So that's going to be a little interesting to see, what they actually reveal. I'm assuming the game is coming out mid to late November, and I'm reserving expectations, and I think the game is going to be received poorly just because of the development issues that they've been having, and the fact that they had to pull a studio completely from production and then bring in another studio that was working on another game. Like the writing on the wall screams this game is either going to be severely undercut in content or it's just going to be like very lackluster. I hope not, because Call of Duty's been kind of on the up and up lately. So I don't know. I mean, the I like the idea of it going back to the Cold War era of Black Ops and not so much, the futuristic one.
I don't know. Like I said, I just like if it has solid gameplay.
Yeah,
I really liked Modern Warfare. I didn't get into Black Ops 4 as much. So I'm gonna, being a new Black Ops title, I'm gonna see exactly how the gameplay feels.
yeah, and hopefully we get more gameplay than like another cinematic trailer at the Gamescom event. And then speaking of Gamescom, that starts Thursday, August 27th. I believe it starts at like 2 p.m. that day, Eastern time. Jeff Keighley's going to be hosting it. There's supposed to be like upwards of 20 new announcements. There's some rumors of some console announcements, not like themselves, but either maybe there might be some price, maybe there might be a pre-order date. You know, Phil Spencer may, I was going to say come out on stage, but I don't think they do that anymore. He may pop in on on Zoom and be like, hey, September, blah, blah, blah. We're going to be revealing blah, 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 and we're going to reveal the release date and the price, and you can pre order then, to like build pre hype to the hype kind of thing, just to like get an edge over Sony. It's totally possible. Gamescom last year was pretty big. There was a lot of stuff that was shown, particularly with Death Stranding. But to be fair, that's only because Jeff Keighley was in Death Stranding, and he has a huge boner for Hideo Kojima. Like he's just in love with that man. But so we'll have to see. George or not George, Jeff Keighley is definitely pulling some weight when it comes to the announcements this year. He started the whole Summer Game Fest. Whether or not that's been a success, we'll have to see. Just because it's this like trickled out drip feed of announcements is a little boring. I kind of like the week of just everything, but I don't know. We'll have to see. COVID kind of delayed a lot, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But just if you're watching this, listening to this, definitely keep an eye out. There could be some major, jaw dropping announcements that Thursday, August 27th.
All right, and we got some other news today. Deathloop has now been delayed until 2021. This one, I'm not really surprised has been delayed with all the
Yeah,
virus stuff going around. It's been hitting a lot of studios really hard and has really made it difficult for a lot of them to meet some of their deadlines. So this is another big one that's been delayed to 2021, but I doubt it's going to be the last one that we see get delayed.
I still think Cyberpunk might get delayed. Uh, I just the fact that they had said that they're not 100% confident with the melee in it. I feel like CD Projekt Red wouldn't release a game if they weren't confident in the melee. And melee sounds like that would be like fundamental like coding issues. So if they're not able to fix that in a post-launch patch, I would expect that to get a delay to like January or February of next year, which would be insane. But there's let's be real, there's plenty to play this year, and we don't even know what's launching on next gen consoles in terms of like third party support. Like there's games that are coming out when the PS5 and the Series X release that are third party games that we don't even know about yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely going to be a lot of smaller titles that kind of fall between the cracks, but could end up being like a huge game. I mean, look at Fall Guys.
Yeah.
Fall Guys is something we didn't really hear anything about. It was done by a much smaller studio, and then kind of came out of nowhere and exploded.
Yeah, it's entirely possible for something to come out in the middle of everything and actually pick up some steam, grab some attention. And speaking of that, Ghost of Tsushima, arguably my game of the year, maybe yours as well. They're releasing a multiplayer mode update to it, which I'm shocked yet happy for, because it's like this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted more content in this game, but it does bring up some questions of like, well, Sucker Punch hasn't made a multiplayer game, so is this a is this gonna work? Is it Sony being like, hey, instead of making expensive single player DLC or expansions, let's just do multiplayer to it. The Last of Us had multiplayer. It's possible that there was a Saber Interactive approached Sony Ben and Sony uh, overall to be like, hey, we can design a multiplayer mode for Days Gone, and they turned it down. And when they turned it down, they went and made World War Z. So like Sony could be like, hey man, you know what? That actually would work if we released a multiplayer component to a game after launch, maybe for free, so that way people don't feel jaded. They don't feel like, oh, you spent time working on the multiplayer when you could have been making the single player better. Like obviously, they released a quality single player content, so maybe releasing multiplayer afterwards, it could be like it could really, really pay off. It gets people talking about the game again. There's possibility of microtransactions, even though I think they came out and said like, no, there's no microtransactions. It's completely free, no microtransactions. Which I mean, that's like the best of both worlds, especially coming for a game that I consider game of the year.
Yes, I think this mode is icing on the cake.
Yes.
Um, I was not expecting this. I definitely was not expecting this as fast as it came
Yeah.
out. And a little bit of details on the mode make it even cooler and tie into the single player mode. So this one will be taking place in like their afterlife area, and the characters you get to pick from will be different classes, but each class will be from some of the heroes that were talked about in the single player game. So the archer will be the archer that you had the essentially the legend told to you. So all these characters aren't just like completely new characters out of nowhere. They do tie into the single player, but essentially they are the legends of Tsushima Island over the centuries, and now you get to play as them in the spiritual realm, I guess, fighting some type of demons or something.
Yeah, I think this is going to be it's going to be fun. I don't know if it's going to be like, oh my god, that was the best multiplayer experience, but it's going to be nice being able to come back to Ghost of Tsushima and it be a new experience. It'll be nice being able to play with some friends. Um, yeah, I mean that like the fact that it's coming out on PS4 next to possibly next gen games would otherwise seem like a suicide. You're really trying to kill the mode, but the game was so strong that I feel confident that it's actually gonna like stand toe to toe with the Assassin's Creed Valhalla as the maybe not Cyberpunk. If Cyberpunk does come out, I feel like Cyberpunk is gonna take up all the bandwidth when when it does launch. It's like nothing's gonna matter except for that game. So I'm very glad that they are adding to one of my favorite games this year. Definitely cool.
Yeah, now definitely, I'm very excited to see this too as a good
Yeah.
surprise.
So some breaking news actually. This was reported on about 10 minutes ago. I'm on Twitter. This is from Phil Spencer. Today we filed a statement in support of Epic's request to keep access to the Apple SDK for its Unreal Engine. Ensuring that Epic has access to the latest Apple technology is the right thing for gamer developers and gamers. I didn't think Microsoft was going to team up with Epic against Apple, but this is pretty much shot fired.
Oh, that's pretty
Yeah, so
interesting to see.
I would imagine Xbox would be like, no, we're gonna stay out of this. Epic is kind of doing their own thing, but no, they were like, no, we're staying. They're they filed a statement in support of Epic's request to keep it. So it's not like completely like controversial, like oh no, they're teaming up, but it's definitely interesting. I was not expecting that, and this could sway Apple to make a decision more in favor of what Epic is requesting. So that's definitely something we'll keep an eye out. I wasn't expecting it to make a turn like that, but definitely some cool breaking news. It's on Twitter. I'm not seeing anyone reporting on it, so that's kind of cool. Maybe we got the scoop. No, not really, but definitely something interesting. Something we'll keep our eyes on moving forward.
Awesome. Well, I think that's about all the news we've got for this week. Tell us what you think about everything in the comments down below. And until next time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.